from MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice of Esther Lynn welcomes you to a brand new edition of BTL. Happy Thursday to us all. Sorry for the late start. That is completely on me and completely on Sparklight, my internet service. Hopefully we can get that squared away in a day or two. Maybe you guys can hit up Sparklight for me and demand that they get my Wi-Fi working the way it needs to work to do this show and other programs. But thanks for joining us. You guys have a lot on your minds. I've been seeing it on social media all week long. So today we're turning the programming over to you guys and joining me to hear your complaints, to answer your questions and everything else. He's back on the show, Mr. No Gray Area, the hot take kid, the one and only Jed Meshew, the climber of all climbers. There he is. Welcome back.
Man, it's so good to be back. Been gone for a couple of weeks. You know, Mike, you always say you got to give the people time to miss you. I was on other shows, so I don't know how much they missed me, but I missed you, and I'm happy to be back here.
Yes, it's good to have you here. I missed you as well. Let's go. Casey's here as well, producer extraordinaire. He will join us to answer some questions and have some takes about Alexander Shably's lightweight greatness, but let's get into this thing. It's always fun. All right.
Shout out
Casey,
Jonah.
what do the peeps want to talk
5
about?
memberships.
Thank you,
Wow.
Jonah.
Right off the top, Jonah Friedman. Oh, and I got a gift membership.
You did? Wow.
Apparently.
What a sweetheart.
I don't know how to give that to somebody else, but sick.
All right. Speaking of Jonah, here we go. Super chat from Jonah, wherever he's from.
Should Chevy versus Whaley happen, would you be in favor of Verna versus Natty Ice for the interim double champ?
Kind of
Wow.
awesome. It's honestly kind of great.
Wow. What do you think about this, Jed? We do interim strawweight versus flyweight champ? Verna versus Natty Ice? That is an idea that the UFC at this point might want to look into.
It's kind of a awesome idea. It would never happen, and I don't think it needs to, right? Like, I think we all think we're going to get the Zhang versus Chevy fight at this point. I mean, this feels really like the time to do so, more so than any other weight class could use some juice, right? Like, just the women's weight divisions in general. This would be a big fight. They kind of need to bring something to the table that might, reinvigorate the conversation. And I love Yana Jandiroba. I believe she absolutely deserves to have her day in court against Zhang Weili. Nobody's going to be that pumped to watch that fight. So I think the Zhang fight is going to happen. And if it does, I think that this is just like an obvious answer here of, okay, Viernan McKenzie Dern, run it back for the interim / real strawweight championship, depending on if the UFC decides they want to strip Zhang or make her vacate as is becoming the norm, which I'm okay with, certainly. Either way, Vierna versus Dern for a belt of some kind, and we do Zhang Chevy because if not now, never.
Casey?
I'm just thinking right now, what's the biggest, money-wise, what's the biggest interim double champ fight the UFC could book? Like two
interim double champ fight?
Yeah.
Like
Tom versus...
It's pretty obviously Ilia versus Islam would be, since they're both the number one contenders functionally for 2 weight classes. But I think that sort of goes against kind of the thing, since we've talked a lot about that.
No, they would fight for the championship. Who would be like the...
They can't fight. They can't fight for the welterweight championship, which is where they're at now. Casey, Ilia's a lightweight, Islam's a welterweight. They'd have to be fighting for the interim welterweight championship. It's a good question. Let me think about it. I don't know. That's a hard question to think because that's too many moving parts.
Yeah,
My
too many
brain's not
moving
working well
parts.
enough.
Yeah, no. I'm trying to.
Kayla versus Amanda, and you bring back the women's featherweight interim belt. It's interim unless Amanda
I like
wins and she
bringing back the
decides.
interim featherweight belt for
Interim featherweight belt.
There's not a real champion. There's just an interim featherweight champion. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of that.
I actually like that idea. I like that idea. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Jonah. Got our
Thank you.
brains moving a little bit. I'm gonna jump out of the super chats real quick, just because I saw this, and we'll just try to answer it right now.
Thank you, Master Universe Classic. Fun challenge. You can work together, but see if you can come up with 8 fighter animal nicknames between you.
Pitbull.
I mean,
Nunez,
could
Lioness.
definitely. So Pitbull, 100%. Lioness, 100%. That's easy. Lionheart probably doesn't.
I mean, there's
count.
2 pit bulls.
Oh,
they're like seven. They're like seven
We could go
pitbulls.
pitbull. We
Yeah.
could say pitbull 8 times in a row.
Yep.
We get it.
Yeah,
We're done.
there are
We already
8. There are a
mentioned
million
pitbull.
pit bulls. But if we're trying to do different animals, lioness, pit
the eagle.
bull,
The eagle.
hippo,
Who's
Eagle,
hippo?
yep.
Anthony Peroche. Come on, Casey.
Oh,
I
Anthony
remember.
Peroche. Whoa.
That's right. We're going, buddy. We've been in this game a long time.
Anthony
I got
Peroche.
100% nail this.
All right.
If you're doing only actives, that might get a little more interesting.
Okay.
Rhino. You said Rhino, Casey. Yeah.
Who's the right? I forget. What's his name? WC
Dude,
guy, right?
champion from WEC.
WEC,
Give me a second. With
yeah,
the
you got-
incredible quote of "knocked
his-
dead." No, I
what's his
don't
name,
get
though?
knocked downs. I get knocked deads. Give me a second, and I'll come to it.
And he looks like the creative fighter from like
Oh,
an MMA
100%.
fighter. Like, what's his name? Oh,
Oh, now I'm gonna look this up.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Cub Swanson. Cub.
Oh yeah, I guess Cub is not his name. Actually,
Derek
so.
Campos, the Stallion. That would have
Nice.
to count.
We have 8 yet. Where are we? Where are we going?
There's- How did I
I don't
count
know
Derek
how many we
Campos?
have.
Or, like, some of the obvious ones.
Give me. I'm too locked in to figure out the answer. Doug Marshall. That's
Doug Marshall.
Doug Marshall.
Yes,
there we
that's
That was
go.
it.
Doug Marshall might be
Yep.
more obscure than Anthony Peroche. That
They're both pretty obscure.
I get a couple.
Oh,
more
the
here.
Eagle. Sorry,
Already
Habib.
said it.
Yeah, we
Already
got
said
that
it.
one.
Oh, did
Already
you?
got
Okay.
it. Already got it.
Um,
Any Rottweilers? Any Doberman? CB Dollaway. Doberman.
Yes.
Raw
Yeah.
dog.
I was just about to say that.
Raw dog.
That's a
Oh, raw
great
dog.
one.
Raw dog.
Shout out to AK Raw Dog.
raw dog. I
Yep.
guess.
Why not? You know.
Yeah.
Surely there's like a bulldog.
Oh
Surely
yeah,
there's a bulldog.
Bruno Silva.
Bruno, there you go. There's got to be a bulldog.
I figured there'd be more. I'm kind of surprised there aren't more.
I'm
got-
sure
I mean,
there
with all
are.
the pit bulls, we're up to,
Also,
like,
I think we've done
37.
like 10 anyway. But
Oh.
Yeah.
we're just trying to do different animals than that. certain-
Baby. Someone. Okay, now I'm going to the comments. Baby Shark.
Baby
Captain
Shark.
Ricci.
I see. In my head, I went to Tisha Torres, and I was like, "Tornado's not an animal," and I forgot to go to
Sharknado.
Sharknado. Yeah, I forgot to
Yeah.
go to Sharknado, which is led to maybe our greatest segment of all time, Firequake.
Okay, well, thank you, Master Universe. If we come up with them randomly at the show, just yell.
Oh yeah.
animal names.
Dude's a mountain tiger or whatever.
Mountain
The
tiger.
guy who's
my man,
knocking the shit out of people. Yeah,
Zhang.
Zhang,
no,
yeah.
yeah.
Min
Yeah,
Yang,
he's mountain
yeah.
tiger.
Yeah,
So
mountain
there's
tiger.
million tigers, lions, bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
You know.
Oh my. All right. Thank you. That was fun. All right.
That was fun.
Sleeto.
It did make me think that fighters need to be more creative. Like, why is there not an elephant? You know, give me
Yeah.
just like the bull elephant. Somebody that'd be fun.
Hey, Mike, I hope you're recovering well from your mental health episode. I just assumed when on you suggested Burns versus Austin Vanderford. Why is that a bad fight? Tell me why that's a bad one. Tell me why that's bad. Gilbert is at work. He's either fighting old dudes or he's fighting guys that the UFC is trying to get over right now. And we're trying not to get Gilbert hurt. Vanderford is not a bad fight. I think that makes a lot of sense. You're trying to get Austin over. Otherwise, why would you bring him into the UFC? That makes no sense. So let's just put him in there and see what happens. Like, I don't think that's a bad fight, but we're gonna waste Gilbert on somebody else at this point when he's lost 4 in a row.
And Vanderford's around that 20 range, where I think Gilbert is.
I don't think that's. I stand by it. There's no mental health episode. I stand by the selection. Colby is not gonna fight him. Who else is there?
You think Colby won't fight him?
Do we sacrifice him to Prochus? Like, what do we do? Like, he's got to fight somebody.
Why Colby? I wouldn't.
I think Colby should fight him. They should do that.
You like that fight?
Chiesa and Burns aren't going to fight each other because they're buds. We've had that conversation a million times. Maybe if Court McGee beats Michael Chiesa, we do Court McGee versus Gilbert Burns. But what sells more? Court McGee versus Gilbert Burns or Austin Vanderford versus Gilbert Burns? Vanderford on the poster is a little more exciting. So
I don't know that either of those are selling much.
Well, Gilbert's not really a sell guy anymore. Now he's more of that name to build up someone.
Gilbert is enhancement talent, but I don't even know how enhanced he is anymore. He's lost 4 in a row now. Gilbert should probably retire. But he got
nuked by Michael Morales. If he's not going to retire, just fight Vanderford.
The Covington fight makes total sense. Why wouldn't he take it? Why wouldn't they take it? I mean, it's annoying that they'd both be ranked and just kind of spinning the wheels that way, but neither of them are really ranked. They're ranked in name only,
Yeah, I don't know if Colby takes that fight.
Not
because he's also afraid. I don't think it does anything.
That doesn't do anything. That's not a good fight for the promotion, really, unless it's some weird fight night main event.
It's a throwaway fight.
But you got to find something to do with these people. Also, we missed the biggest one, John the Duck Jones. Boom, right there, or the chicken, either one. The turducken.
2 and 1 right there. The
all right.
I'm doing fine, Sleeto. I stand by my selection. I'm with it even 5
I don't think your selection's bad. I don't think there are any good selections for Gilbert Burns right now.
Exactly.
No,
because he's lost 4 in a row.
No, okay. We'll move on. I don't want to trash on Gilbert too much. Another super chat from Sleeto.
Gareth A. Davies mentioned that the UFC has more shooting stars than stars. Interesting point. Do you agree? Also, why does he say "suck it and see"? I don't know. So I jumped on Submission Radio yesterday. Gareth A. Davies was a guest for half the program. We talked about stars and the lack of star power, and they have more shooting stars than stars, which I think is, I don't know.
Probably,
hope and pray, I guess.
Right?
Wish upon them, and maybe something will happen. But again, and this is
the
point I kept
stars, stars who don't have longevity but are just there for a minute.
Yeah, and they don't even have really. I mean, they kind of have that right now. But again, there is no bigger star than Dana in the UFC right now. They are what's making this product millions of dollars, billions of dollars soon to be with this new TV deal they're about to sign. So, but look, the UFC is doing everything that they wanted to do. They want people to be popular. Certainly, they want to sell jerseys and fight kits and all that stuff. And of course, if they could sell pay-per-view, great, but that's not their top priority. It does not matter who headlines these cards. It is going to sell out. It's going to do the biggest gate in the history of the arena. It's going to break fight night records. It does not matter what headlines any card. It doesn't even matter what the card looks like. They will sell tickets at astronomical prices and break all of these gate records, which is perfect for the UFC because after the whole rise and surge of Conor McGregor leading into the Floyd Mayweather fight, the UFC, from a business perspective, has been saying to themselves, we can never get in this position again where a fighter becomes bigger than the organization. And at one point, Conor McGregor was bigger than the UFC. And now the UFC is bigger than the entire roster of fighters, and they will fight their asses off and do everything they can in order to keep it that way. So that's kind of where they're at right now.
Yep. Everything Mike said.
All right.
And I don't know what suck it and see is. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Deal with I think it's just a deal with it type thing.
Davey says that? That's his thing.
He said it on the show yesterday.
Like, all right. I'm just caught. I'm caught up in that. Yeah, all right, I'll move on. Thank you, Sleeto. Super chat from our wonderful friend Chase.
Y'all know what the hell we want to Jed to go off about. At this point, I no longer feel like John is to blame for this mess. Will the UFC to keep Tom on the sideline for the rest of 2025? I also don't feel like John is to blame for this. So if you guys have if you've been hiding under a rock and you have no idea what's going on, John Jones has spent this entire week trolling the UFC, the fan base, and Tom Aspinall. Want to know why? Because he can, and it gets a reaction. And he's actually, in a weird way, kind of helping Tom Aspinall in some extent, where Tom and his team can be like, look what this fucking guy is tweeting right now. And you're telling me you cannot strip this man of the belt right now, that you cannot take the belt away from him. And John knows that the answer is no, they will not take the belt off of him. So he's just going to keep tweeting. I'm not retired. I'm like a step before retirement, just living my best life. And John is right. Every second that goes by, every awful comment, every duck and chicken comment made about him is making him more money potentially. So John is just trolling the world right now, and he's loving every second of it. Are we officially past, Jed, we need to blame John Jones for this, and it's all about just the UFC being so stubborn, and this is let's get Khabib out of retirement part 2 in order to get John Jones in the octagon with Tom Aspinall?
No, you're exactly wrong. Like, you're exactly the inverse of correct. Previously, we shouldn't have really blamed John Jones. It's fun to blame John, right? Like, chickens can't be goats, just trying to goad him into it. But I said the whole time, and everybody agreed, like, he is trying to negotiate his worth. And I don't blame him for that. Now is the time that I do. And I'm not saying we don't blame the UFC. We blame the UFC. But I have the perfect analogy for this, because I thought of this earlier this week as I was sitting around thinking on things. Here's the issue, Mike. What John is doing is technically not wrong. Like, he has no obligation to Tom Aspinall to do this. There is no law mandating that he do this. The onus does ultimately fall on the UFC. And that is a way to view this, and it's not necessarily wrong, but it is sort of implicitly wrong. Because think about shopping carts at a Kroger, right? Or at whatever your food chain, Publix, whatever it is that you go to. Technically, if you use the shopping cart and then just leave it wherever the fuck you want, you have done nothing wrong. You don't owe anybody the obligation to return it. But we live in a society where everything functions better if we have a baseline level of respect for others around us. And so if you are a total sociopath and just say, F it, the shopping cart goes over there because I'm too lazy to do this thing over here, that would set me back 5 minutes of my day or whatever. I'm not going to do that. You are not breaking any law, but you are an asshole. But if Kroger then just leaves shopping carts all around the parking lot and never collects them, they are in fact the worse of the two, because they do owe some obligation to maintain this thing. And so, yes, the UFC is more at fault than John, but John is behaving in a way that is entirely and explicitly selfish. And it is okay to be like, hey man, we live in a society. It'd be a lot cooler if you weren't an asshole about this. You're not technically doing anything wrong, but you're also kind of doing something wrong here, because if you know that you're done, you can just retire. And per his most recent tweet or whatever, like, I can come back whenever I want. Sick, dude. Drop the belt. Come back whenever you want. Because that is true. You can walk away from the sport for 8 years and come back and immediately fight for the belt. You did it at light heavyweight and then just came and fought for the heavyweight. You could just do that. But at this point, the UFC is obviously worse. I will never say that they aren't more to blame for this, but we can absolutely start being like, wow, John's just being a real ass about this when he could shit or get off the pot here. And so now is the time we should start blaming John Jones, whereas previously we probably shouldn't have been.
I mean, I think I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. John was to blame for the entire build to Stipe. because John could have just said, like, you know what? I don't want this Stipe fight. Let's fight Tom Aspinall. And throughout the entire build, it was never about Tom Aspinall. It was about Tom hasn't done enough to earn this fight. And who the hell is Tom Aspinall anyways? Alex Pereira is the one who has earned this fight. There you can blame John. I think he deserves all the blame for that because he just let this thing go. And then all the duck accusations and all that stuff, they were completely warranted. Absolutely. And then him denying Adam Catterall an interview and because he's friends with Tom Aspinall. Like, those are dickish moves that you can blame him for. But at this point,
you don't think blatant selfishness? Dude. Like, this is entire, like, there is no level of this.
Of course it is.
An almost sociopathic level of selfishness.
He can do whatever he wants. He's testing his limits. It's like, if you want to use a Kroger shopping cart reference, the Kroger employee who is responsible for putting the carts away at the end of the night just says, you know what? I'm going to piss off Kroger by leaving one car in the parking lot. And then they give this Kroger employee a raise, even though the rest of the staff is saying, like, look, this dude is a lazy ass. He's not putting the cart away.
That guy's
you're giving
still
him a raise and you're not firing him. Exactly. But at some point you have to make a move. At some point you have to step up and make an executive decision. At some point you have to make a decision that sends a message to the rest of the roster. And they're not doing it. All they have to do is say, John Jones is no longer the champion. Tom Aspinall is the champion. He's going to fight Cyril Gane. If John Jones wants to come back and fight for the heavyweight title, he can. All they have to do is say that. And then John can keep being an asshole, but at least he's not an asshole as the heavyweight champion of the world and parading around with a championship belt that he seems to have no interest in defending. If I'm John, I'm doing the same thing. I'm seeing how far I can take this before the promotion says, fuck off, you're not the champion anymore. Yes, he's a dick. Yes, he's being selfish. Yes,
you're not, Mike. I know you as a person, and you are not a bad person. There's no world in which you would actually do this with the explicit point to be a troll and an ass. And that is almost exclusively what is happening right now. You and I agree. The UFC is to blame. They have been from the beginning. They are the people with the onus to act here. But the longer this has gone on, the less acceptable John's blatant selfishness is, because we live in a society. It works better if you're not just totally and impossibly focused only on the betterment of yourself to the exclusion of anything else. John has let this go on too long, as he is now explicitly saying, yeah, I'm probably not fighting again, but like, whatever, fuck them, I don't care. So yes, the UFC is the big 100%. I will never argue that the UFC, they are Kroger. They have the obligation. Return your shopping cart. Be an adult.
The tweet that gets me, though, that really put me over the edge on all of this was, I told the UFC my plans months ago. I don't know why they haven't relayed them to you. That alone is like, what else do you want this guy to do? I mean, again, I'm with you.
You're taking a John Jones tweet at face value. I would not do that.
In this situation, there's no way the UFC is not aware of what he's trying to do, especially when there's precedent set. Khabib Nurmagomedov is like, I don't care if you offer me 5 Brinks trucks, each with $100 billion in them. I'm never fighting again. And for months, we had to watch UFC events, and Dana White post-fight press conference was like, we've been talking. I think I might be able to get him back. And there's zero chance of getting Khabib back. I feel like we're almost in the same boat right now, where it's like, until Dana finally admitted, he's like, yo, Khabib ain't coming back. Like, the ship has sailed. Everyone's like, all right, now we can move on from this whole thing. You've dangled the carrot in front of us long enough. Just get rid of it here. I think there's a part of this where Dana is just like, yo, I promised these fans that I'm going to make this fight for them. And now, from all accounts and multiple reports, they offered John the FU money and everything he could have wanted for this fight. And now he's just like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to chill and live my best life. Okay, well, if you've already met everything he wanted, like, just come out and take the belt from him. John doesn't even care. He even said in a tweet, like, oh, so how do you feel that you're going to get stripped of the belt? And he was like, do I seem like the person that would care about something like that? And it probably doesn't matter to him. So what are we doing? He's said everything he needs to say for you to take the belt away from him. Everything. And you're not doing it. It's just crazy. And Tom Aspinall, who could be the greatest heavyweight we've ever seen fight, is about to sit out for an entire year waiting for this to happen. And the longer this lasts, the longer Tom sits, and we won't even think about Tom fighting until November. We're just wasting this. This is not Michael Chandler waiting for Conor McGregor wasting his prime. Chandler was already on the back nine. Tom Aspinall is about to hit his prime, and he's going to have to spend it sitting on the sidelines with the interim belt that he's already had to defend. He's the longest reigning interim champion in UFC history right now, and he's only fought once since winning that title. It's crazy. This whole thing is ridiculous, and the UFC is allowing this all to go on for far too long. It's annoying.
Yeah, they should have stopped this forever ago, but they don't seem intent to do so. And
no,
there is honestly a piece of me that thinks Dana didn't do the post presser at whatever the most recent one was, is because at some point he's going to have an answer. And and I know, far be it for me to say that MMA media is ever going to hold Dana White's feet to the fire, but the first person who just go add a thing is hey, Dana, Tom Aspinall is the longest reigning interim champion in history. When are we going to do this? And it's I'm making the fight. Okay, well, you've been making that fight for 2 years, like you were making the John versus Francis fight. At what point do you just have to respect the only champion you have who's defending belts and fighting against top opposition? And they don't want to answer that. For the life of me, I do not understand what they are doing outside of them just actually believing they can make this get over the line, when it seems very evident to anyone with 2 eyeballs and a pulse that this is not going to happen anytime soon.
I just don't understand the UFC's position, because we keep saying the UFC can do no wrong. So why do this? Or
Dana should have never guaranteed that they can make this fight. He should have said, we'll try to get it done.
Why is this the promise he has to keep when we don't want to go Tachi Palace, we don't, I mean, we don't need to do this over and over. I mean, so he's broken promises plenty of times. Why is this one the one? Or is it just the most recent one until the next one that we forget?
Because Dana's head has a very weird John Jones hole in it. He spent half of last year arguing blatantly wrongly that and angrily that John is the top pound for pound fighter in the world, before finally being I guess you guys are right. It was because obviously there wasn't a human being alive other than Dana and John who thought that he deserved to be called the top pound for pound fighter in the world. It was explained to him multiple times, and he couldn't. His brain just shut off in defense of John. And it's super weird. It makes no sense, especially given the myriad problems John has caused him. John Jones has probably caused Dana White more sleepless nights than any other fighter. And somehow that inversely made him love John more, to where he will do anything in support of him. And it is truly mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is mind-boggling. Yeah. But more importantly, is John Jones someone that returns his shopping cart? I think we know the answer.
Dude, come on.
I know. Yeah, okay, yeah, we know.
No chance. The shopping cart test is the greatest test for humanity. Because in my head, when I first read about it, I was nobody does that. Only stone cold crazy people. And then the internet just makes everybody accessible, and you're oh my God, there are a lot of people who don't do this, because you are just psychopaths.
This is true. Hey, Mike, since we're doing this kind of special link up, I'm gonna log you out and log you right, and I'm gonna send you the link. You know the whole shebang.
Yeah.
All right, hold on a second.
Oh, hell yeah. I've got the band hammer in the chat. I'm the lead right now while Mike's away. Let's get nonsense.
All right, let me get a question up here while I reconnect. Where are we at? Feels like a trolley question, but no, not trolley. Joseph Boza.
Feels like a Joseph Boza question is what you mean to say.
Yeah.
Was Patchy Mix disrespected by facing number 10 Mario Bautista at UFC 316? I heard on another podcast, we don't recognize other podcasts, Patchy should have gotten somebody higher for his debut and on a full camp. I don't think this is a trolley question at all. I don't think that he was disrespected, and enough smart people who I respect are very supportive of this fight that I have to just believe that I'm, wrong here. Cause I am a little more towards the Patchy probably should have a full camp, but that's on him, right? Like he's choosing to do this, maybe he's been training and prepping, whatever. I would like him to get somebody a little higher up than Bautista, because basically my view is Patchy Mix should be a one in title fight guy, right? Like he is a new name to offer the champion Murad Dvalishvili, who is currently looking at a string of rematches ahead of him likely. And so you just want to get Patchy one in there. And I don't think Mario Bautista, like maybe if he really shows out, the UFC just says F it and they do it because they have unilateral ability to do whatever the hell they want. But in my head, it would be like, yeah, maybe it would have been better if Patchy got to come in and get, a top 5-ish guy just so he can immediately insert himself against Merab. But I think that this is fine. And the sooner we get Patchy Mix in the octagon, the better. So doing it quick turnaround like this is, I would say broadly speaking, not bad. But Casey, I know we've talked about this on air before. I think Mike is a very big proponent of this matchup, this matchmaking. So if he comes back, he can defend the choices being made here.
I like this matchup mostly because of the timing. It's just because of the main event, Mario Bautista not being the most, favorable fighter with the fans right now. I think it's just a good fight for Patchy. Yeah, I think I would agree. Like I like a slightly higher ranked fighter, but I kind of dig this fight. And I don't want to wait around another 6 months. It's like it's right next week.
That's the thing. I would
the timing is
if the option is this or wait 6 months, I would rather have this. But like, I don't know. I'm trying to look to see. Like I don't know what Song Yadong is doing, but like in a perfect world, I would have been like Song versus Patchy, August, and then the winner of that gets to fight for the belt, because that would be sick.
Sorry, I'm now having other technical issues getting Mike in, so I'm going to bring another question up. Yeah. Yay. All right. This is the mic question. Oh, we missed the biggest one.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Spider's an animal. So I understand that's the spider. Also, Kendall, Spider Grove.
Spider.
I don't know if that's different since it's but yes. I mean, there have to be a billion like animal things out there.
Not as many as I thought, though. There are a billion, but there's
a lot of overlap because they're all living in the same things,
Yeah. There's about 75% pit bulls.
Like,
after that, yeah.
Like there's a million pit bulls. Like, give me a raccoon, give me somebody red panda,
All right. Here we go. Questions, gentlemen. Oh.
Lazy Bed, with Arena Guadalajara canceling events through September 4th and Noche set for the 13th, are we at risk of a last-minute switch to a different location and venue? I don't think we're at risk of this. I think that this is just going to happen, but I don't think it's going to be last minute. And I don't blame the UFC for this one. I think that trying to do the Guadalajara thing is a great idea for the Noche. It looked like the timeline was going to be open for them. The fact that all the delays have happened, seeing various reporting on the ground of like this place isn't remotely close to being done. I think just in the pretty near future, the UFC is going to pull the plug and say, okay, well, this isn't going to work. At least I hope. I really don't want them to go through with like a half-built arena. That's terrible. I think in the next month or two, they'll be like, all right, we tried it. We'll come back next year when the arena, surely by then will be up. We can do a Noche thing somewhere else. I don't know if there's the availability of other venues in Mexico on relatively short notice. I don't think they'll do the Sphere thing, even though the Sphere thing, Casey won a whole bunch of sports Emmys. So credit for the Sphere show for that. Dana got what he wanted. He said afterwards or ahead of time, this thing's going to win awards. It did. I doubt that they can turn that around sort of on that timeline for something like that. But I do suspect that based on all the ground reporting, it's just like this isn't going to happen. They are desperately holding out hope, but I think that hope will go away and they'll look to, CDMX, or if they can get that, they can get into Mexico City or something, or just have to say screw it and go to Houston or whatever.
All right. That'd be crazy. Yeah. Oh man, I cannot get Mike in. Jeez. My Zoom is crashing.
Terrific. Things are going great.
All right. Thank you much.
Thanks, Lazy. Blood and Beer. MMA fighting is so much nicer than Faraz Sahabi. Did Faraz Sahabi say anything that I'm unaware of?
Yeah, we need more details.
I don't know. I don't watch Faraz's YouTube all that often, so I don't know what he's done lately. I know his brother stole a win from Jose Aldo and sent him to retirement, which I was pretty unhappy with, but
but
that's okay.
Like I think we saw, if you're gonna steal a victory from Jose Aldo,
that's how you do it.
That's how you do it. Mario Batista.
At least he didn't Batista that.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. So I don't know what Faraz said. So
all right. Any more questions?
I won't pick a fight blindly.
Yeah. All right, what else we got here? I got some golf questions, but we don't have Mike here.
What are they questions about the old swing rounds?
I'll give it to you. You're a golf guy too.
I golf.
Here we go.
Mike, based on mere speculation, who do you reckon would have the longest golf drive on the UFC roster? So to the best of my understanding, this is a much more Mike question. To the best of my understanding, Gaethje is actually quite good at golf. And I would suspect that he would have the longest drive as a result. Because, if you ever watch pro golf, Bryson DeChambeau is enormous. And, Rory McIlroy is not a small person. But, a lot of the top pro golfers are not large humans, and they still drive the ball 330 or whatever. I'm not, a huge person, and my drives are, 270. So I think Gaethje being good at golf strongly and also, he's one of the hardest punchers at lightweight. The man has power. So I suspect that he probably is it. But if you're just going who could you teach to hit the ball furthest? Any of the big athletic heavyweights is probably a good answer.
I don't know anything about golf. What does it take to have a long drive? Is it
it's all mechanics.
Gym? Is it all mechanics? I mean,
there's muscles involved, but it is primarily mechanics. Because the club, we all have muscles enough, and it's the club and you're building torque functionally. And so the bigger you are, maybe the more you can generate, but you're trying to get a lot of a whip, being lithe is usually a little bit better. But it's primarily mechanics. So you can teach any of these people. It's just a hard thing to learn to do.
Gotcha. And yes.
I would bet Tom Aspinall has the ability to drive the ball quite far. He's quite athletic and a big, strong fella.
Hold on. You know what? Let's get the man to answer that right now.
Oh, he's back.
I'm back. Can everybody hear me?
There we got you. Sorry about that, Mike. But you're back.
Good.
We got a question for you.
Based on mere speculation, who you reckon will have the longest golf drive on the UFC roster? Derek, when Derek got a hold of one, he friggin' smoked it. It took him a baker's dozen tee shots to hit one.
But some of those only went about, but maybe 20 feet too.
Oh yeah, it's got to be a fun video. I had a great time watching the first draft early this morning. It's terrific. I bet it'd be like someone like Yuri Prohashka, because like if Yuri just seems like a dude that if you were
I
like,
was
hey
literally
Yuri, I
thinking
bet you
we could
can't hit a
teach Yuri
golf
to play
ball.
golf. I bet he'd be good.
I bet he would obsess himself with the mechanics of the golf swing, but then put his own twist on it where he would just hit the ball a mile. So I will go with about 3 months of obsessive work. I'll go with Yuri Prohashka to just be able to absolutely nuke one once he figures out the philosophy of a golf swing.
He would definitely have a weird swing. He would be doing some Matt Wolf shit, like some absolutely absurd nonsense. It would be
I
great.
could also see like a guy like Michael Chandler just nuking a golf ball.
My answer is Gaethje because he is good at golf, and I suspect that means he consistently drives the ball quite well.
Could be.
Also, he hits real hard. He's athletic, and he plays a lot of golf.
He does.
I
play
would
a lot
just
of
be
golf.
surprised if Gaethje doesn't like have a standard like a stock 280 drive in him.
He probably does.
Any guesses who would be the worst golfer, no matter how hard they tried?
Oh, I mean, a lot of these people would be terrible at it.
Just like
John
body hit.
Jones.
Is DC any good, or is he just like playing?
DC does not have. I don't know if DC is good or not. The videos I've seen of him, they are old. He was terrible. I hear he plays more, so he might have improved. He does not have the build of a man that I would think is very good at golf.
All right.
Chris Weidman hits the ball pretty far. Like when he gets a hold of it, he can hammer one.
You want guys with long levers. Weidman has some long levers. Like, I bet MVP, if you could teach him how to swing a club, I have no idea if he can.
How would Joel Alvarez do?
Joel Alvarez. I mean, he's an athlete, so he'd do great.
Yeah, I'm just thinking tall, lanky dudes. Yeah.
Like, yeah, you want all the people I play with that drive the ball the furthest, they're tall, lanky dudes because they can whip the club head faster. It's all about club head speed.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Lazybed.
Lazar, I refuse to believe Chandler's the best golfer. I don't want to believe
No, we are. Chandler and I are working on getting something together this summer.
I need to know if he's good or not. I need to know if I can beat him because I need to be able to beat him. It'll hurt my soul if he's better at golf than I am.
The last interview I did with him, he said he hadn't played in a year leading
That's
into
terrific.
the Patty fight. So
Strongly
I think you
suspect
have a
that I
good
can beat him
chance.
then.
Yes. I think he went out for like his first round in over a year yesterday. Tanvir, does Ankalaev end up fighting Pereira or Ulberg or Hill get the next title shot? Well, Hill's fighting Roundtree, so he's already booked. I think, Jed, you and I are probably on the same page with the whole Ulberg situation. There's only one fight to make for Carlos Ulberg and one fight only, and it's Dominic Reyes.
Title fight. Yep.
It's Dominic Reyes.
100%. 100%.
It makes sense.
Makes total sense. I think Ankalaev and Pereira are going to run it back. I think that's stupid and shouldn't happen, but it's fine.
And if Ulberg beats Reyes, then he has to fight Yuri next. He's going to have to win 2 probably before he gets title shot.
If he beats Reyes but actually just beats him fun, then it would be fine. But like if he wins boring again, then I'll have to fight Yuri. Pereira shouldn't fight Ankalaev. He should just go to heavyweight. I don't know why he would. I genuinely don't understand why he would fight Ankalaev. Like he should view this
fight Tom Aspinall
identically.
for the
He should view this identically to the Izzy loss of like, okay, because like he could go win. Like I'm not saying he can't win, he could. What's the upside, right? Like you've already put a loss in, like you'll probably just have to fight him a third time. That's like the least exciting rivalry you could imagine. It is you and Ankalaev, so that's not even like huge business. If you lose the third time, then you're going up to heavyweight anyway. If you win, like, are you really putting together another light? No, just go up to heavyweight, dude. Like you did it. You checked the box. You were never going to be the greatest light heavyweight of all time. That's too high of a bar to clear. Take a lesson from Ilia Topuria. You could never do it. So just like, screw it. I'll go up and try and do this other thing. Like that's 100%. He should be like, cool. I'll go fight Jailton Almeida at heavyweight. And if the winner of that gets to fight Tom Aspinall for the undisputed belt, sick.
If you take John Jones out of the equation, is Aspinall and Ankalaev at heavyweight for the belt, the undisputed heavyweight championship belt. Is that the biggest fight the UFC can make?
No, it's on Goliath.
Wait, Aspinall
Nobody
versus who?
cares.
Aspinall versus who? No, I
You
said,
said-
not Ankalaev.
I say you said Aspinall versus Goliath.
I didn't mean
No.
Ankalaev. I'm sorry. You erased that. Not Ankalaev. I meant Pereira. Sorry. I totally meant Pereira.
Yes,
It's,
it's
Aspinall
one of the
Pereira.
big, I don't
That'd
know
be
if
a
it's
big
the
fight.
biggest. It's one of the big.
Yeah, to me, because now that Topuria and Islam are locked up for a while, seemingly, that if they made a fight tomorrow, that would be the biggest fight they can make, right?
It's right up there if it's not the biggest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Just make it. Yeah. If all this stupidness, I was like, yeah, just make that fight.
Or if you're Alex, just DM John and be like, "Hey, I'll fight you. We don't have to fight for a belt. No one will care if we fight if there's a belt on the line or not. Tweet that you're vacating your heavyweight title, and you and I will fight at cruiserweight for the GOAT belt of all time." Sick. Like fighting Magman Ankalaev is like the worst of the options available to Alex Pereira. Like it would make more sense,
even money wise, even
Rickus Duplessis at middleweight than it is to fight Magman. I have no idea why he would possibly want to do that.
It's just pride at that point because it has nothing to do with his bank account. Yeah, because that's
very
money
silly.
wise, that's the worst fight of all of them. All right. Thank you much.
Hear me out. Jan versus Reyes too.
I think the Reyes Olberg fight makes a ton of sense, but if they don't, I don't hate it.
Sure. Just keep Reyes away from Yuri. Don't do that again. As much as I love that
it was
first
really
fight.
fun. The fight was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was my fight of the year in 2021. But it was also the scariest knockout I've maybe seen in the UFC to that point, because I thought Dominic Reyes was never fighting again. I was just hoping he would open his eyes after that knockout.
And now he's one victory away from getting that strap back.
Oh my gosh, what a story!
But you won't mind seeing that rematch though, if it's for the belt though. I know you're scared for Dom, but if it's for the belt, I think that rematch.
If it's for the belt, yeah. All right, if it's for the belt,
because that's got a hell of a story. Yeah, hell of a story. Oh, jeez. When you were gone, animal nicknames. We completely forgot the spider, and somehow we missed this one.
Oh, the Iron Turtle, of course.
So I saw that in the chat.
Yeah,
and there are a million of them out there.
But Iron Turtle on this show, come on.
It's true.
All right. Another one from Mr. Boza.
Thoughts on Kyoji Horiguchi's return delayed for UFC on ABC 8, June 21st. Who should Kyoji face in his return? So for fans, this is like probably the best case scenario, honestly, right? Because people did not like the Taguero Ulanbekov fight. They were just like, what? Why are we doing this? We watched Kaius Kerr get a title shot, and now like this is happening. So who should Kyoji face in his return? I have an idea, but your thoughts, Jed?
Oh, I was super happy when this news broke. I don't know why. I don't know if we know why, and I just missed it. But like the Ulanbekov fight was just terrible. It was rat shit. Like I can't call it the worst UFC matchmaking because Jose Aldo's last 3 fights exist, but it was really bad matchmaking that just like probably wouldn't even be that fun. No one would care. It doesn't put Kyoji in the mix immediately. So this fight falling apart is terrific. The truth is I don't care who you put Kyoji against. Any top 5 dude will do. Throw him in there with pants. That would be sick. They have both basically acknowledged they would fight each other for a title. I don't know who you'd be looking at and thinking, because to me, the only choice, and I'm trying to think if this guy got booked again or not, but I don't think like Brandon Moreno, just run that at the wherever we do. You missed us talking about Guadalajara, maybe not happening, but wherever that event, the Noche event happens, if Kyoji is able, because I don't know what forced him out of this.
He hasn't said.
To me, that's the A+.
That's a good one. I like the Cop Royval loser as well. Either of those 2 men would be fun.
But Jed, you're okay you're okay with Kyoji going straight to title shot too. Also facing
Totally
the winner
fine with
of
it. We did it
Pants
with Kaya Sakura. Who gives a shit?
Well,
You know.
I mean, no, who gives a shit? But if you could
I
choose,
won't be okay with it if Manel Kopp beats
wins.
Brandon Royval because he will be undeniably next in line.
That makes sense. Yeah. If
But also, like, if Pantoja loses to KKF, then things get very silly very quickly. I suspect he'll get an immediate rematch, but like that'll just throw a whole spanner in the works. But if Pants wins and Manel Kopp win, you got to do that. There's nothing that can stand in the way. But if not, I know Brandon Royval will deserve a rematch, and I wouldn't be upset at that point if he gets another one. But I'd rather watch Kyoji. That'd just be more fun to me.
yeah, it's not too many options after that. Yeah. All right.
I mean, if KKF wins, things get wide open in a hurry.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be that'll be one of the more surprising results of the year if Kai wins this fight. It is what it is. And normally it's like availability is your best friend, but there were multiple fighters available. Manel Kopp specifically fighting on the same card and not fighting for the belt is a little annoying.
That's on the same card. Oh man, I didn't know that was on the same card.
On the same card.
Same card.
Oh wow.
It's the functional backup fight. If I'm Kopp, if I'm Kopp or Royval, I'm coming in on championship weight and hoping Kai Kara France slips on a banana peel.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Boza. Oh yeah, we got some more animal names out there. I see. The Monkey King, Jordan Levitt.
Great one.
Yeah.
I guess Monkey King counts. Polar bear.
Oh,
certainly
the Great
counts.
Ape, Alexander Hernandez, the Great Ape. Now I forgot about that.
Nice.
Yeah. The polar bear.
Darren Till the gorilla.
Oh yeah.
The polar bear. Yeah. The Alaskan polar bear, Paul Varlins.
Oh, Allberg, Black Jag. Yep. That is.
Yep. There you go.
Although when I think of Allberg, I think of Ladies' Night, not Black Jag. So
yeah, he's Ladies' Night. Yeah. Super chat from Chase.
What will be the sentiment about Tom Aspinall if he loses his next fight after John is finally stripped?
To who? Loses to who?
I mean, I guess Cyril Gahn. It seems like the guy who has the inside track, but it could be Volkov or Almeida.
Pereira.
That's a good question. My guess is John will start tweeting, and all the worst people on the internet would be like, "Yeah, see, John was right all along." And so there will be certainly some of the like, actually, Tom Aspinall is all smoke and mirrors. There will be some people who will just be like, damn, great performance from Jailton Almeida or Cyril Gahn or whatever. I think it'll probably be a lot of people who are having to be more quiet because it's very hard to defend John at this juncture will be quite loud for a minute. And then they'll recognize that John still didn't beat Tom Aspinall. John just didn't fight him. And then it'll all settle out, and it'll depend long-term on how Tom rebuilds. If that's a hiccup and he comes and reclaims the belt and goes on a long reign, cool. If he sort of Sergey Pavlovich's it and just kind of falls apart, that'll be tough.
All right.
Because like that is the thing about that fight, and we've all said it from the beginning. It's not that we think Tom is going to beat John. Like I think at this point I'll favor Tom, but like it would not remotely surprise me if John Jones asserted his greatness and beat him, because we still don't know that much about Tom Aspinall. He just punches dudes and they die. Like that's it. That's all every fight has been, him punching a dude and they die. And so like Sergey Pavlovich did that. And the first dude, well, not the first dude because Alistair Overeem did it, but then after the Overeem thing, the first dude who didn't die when he punched him, and then he died because Tom punched him. Like we don't really know like what Tom's game looks like against resistance. And John, for whatever faults he has and whatever criticisms you can levy, is a man who will provide resistance against any human being he fights. It's a good fight, and it's a fight that I would like to see because I don't know who wins, but I don't think we're going to get there. And so then people will just start spinning the narratives they want if Tom ends up losing.
They just should have never made Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich that quickly in for an interim belt. We would not even be in this in this position right now.
They really shouldn't have done that.
Really stupid. We said it literally the day they announced that this is a terrible idea.
Is there a chance they would, if John isn't injured, why aren't they stripping Aspinall?
Because John's also not defending his belt.
And we're
you can't strip Aspinall if John retires. Then you just don't have a champion, and then you got to put Tom back in a title fight, and that's just the optics are terrible. I genuinely don't understand what's going on. I would like Dana to answer the question and not answer it in a lie or a partial truth, but I would like to genuinely just be like, Dana, cameras off the record. What are you thinking and why is this happening? This seems very, very weird.
He'll say, talk to Hunter Campbell. He's been having all the conversations. He will also say, look, if you don't hear from us, it's bullshit. Anything anybody else is reporting is bullshit.
So I said off the record. This is just me and him over a couple of drinks, just telling me the real, the actual truth, like what's going on here. Because is it just that you are waiting until the next New York card and that's where you've drawn your line? I'm like, okay, if John won't fight Tom in Madison Square Garden, then whatever. And does this look bad? Sure, but we don't give a shit, so it'll be fine. And we'll just wait till then, and then we'll strip John if not. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's baffling to me.
It's all ridiculous.
Lazy Bet, a muscle shark is not a real animal. I didn't include dragons in my animal conversations either. But a muscle shark, while one of the funnier nicknames, that's a fictitious animal.
Yeah, we've already said Doberman. Thank you, Lazy Bet. What? Oh, the
tarantula though, yes. But also he doesn't fight anymore, so you know.
Yeah, that's why we omitted it. Jeez, come on. Which interim champ?
Peroche the hippo, but we didn't get Jalen Turner the torch. To be fair, I think of hippo all the time. I think it's one of the funnier nicknames.
Which UFC interim champions have been stripped? Like they didn't actually fight for the title or lose the title.
Tony Ferguson.
Was Whitaker? Did Whitaker get? Wasn't Whitaker?
No, Whitaker fought for the belt. Whitaker was elevated.
Whitaker became champion after GSP retired.
It might just be.
He got upgraded, or did he fight for it? I can't remember.
He got elevated.
He got upgraded.
No, he got elevated.
Okay.
Tony got stripped because he got hurt.
He tripped on a
Colby
cable.
got stripped because he wouldn't fight Woodley on like a month's notice or whatever.
Any other ones?
I think that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
I'll take a look.
Everybody else,
off the top of my head,
champion.
I think everybody fought for it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, just wondering. All right, thank you. Force Daniels.
Should Ilia Topuria fight Paddy the Baddy in his first title defense if he gets past Charles? You bet your ass he's calling for that fight, and he should.
1,000,000,000% yes. I don't think he will call for that fight, but 1,000,000,000% yes.
You don't think so? I think call for Islam.
Yes, I think you can know what Ilia's going to do by what he says he's not going to do, because he said he wasn't going to fight Max Holloway, and then he fought Max Holloway. He said he didn't have to fight for the lightweight title; he would just move up and fight Charles Oliveira or whatever, and he's fighting for the title. He said he won't fight Islam Makhachev. Islam's going to need to beg him for a win. I suspect quite strongly the man will get on the mic and be like, Islam Makhachev, you ran away. I hope you beat Jack Della Maddalena because I'm coming for that belt. And I don't blame him. I think that if he can make that happen, that's good business for him. But if he can't, then I think this is a wonderful consolation prize for him.
All right. Thank you much. Masters of the Universe really wants us to answer this question.
Who are your favorite top 3 UFC commentators of all time, and who would you like to see commentate who hasn't already?
All right, play-by-play or color? What are we talking? It's 2 different things.
I would say all.
I would
Okay.
just include them all. I think Anik is the GOAT UFC commentator.
Yep.
So I would put him in there. I think he's just the best at it. You also understand my
Stan.
position. I think Brian Stan was good. I'm sure that Brian Stan would have sucked if he did it for longer. My long-standing take that commentators should max out at 3 to 5 years is here. I'll include Brian Stan because of, he didn't, and I guess he doesn't count as a. Did Mir ever do UFC? I know he was the WC guy for a long time, but
I
I
don't
don't know
remember
if he
him
ever
Never did
actually was on
UFC.
UFC.
You never did UFC.
That's a shame. He was quite good at WC.
Didn't he get fired for some reason from WEC? And then
Maybe.
There was
ended
the
up fighting again?
he said was it, I thought it was the Brock thing. He said something murder like it was he said something in a
Oh,
time
yeah,
he said something at a time that if they said it
When
now
you couldn't say stuff,
yeah like now it would be
couldn't
like
say anything you wanted.
yeah now
The
that would
UFC
barely, it
would've
would
got a
barely made the
raise.
morning report
Huh.
if he said that now yeah.
Yeah, Mir was
I don't
really
know.
good.
Who's the
I think
play-by-play
Felder's really
British
good.
dude? Why can't
John
I think of his name?
Gooden?
Good. Yeah, I'll go Gooden. I like Gooden. I think he's
Gooden's
very
good.
at
Their
his job.
play-by-play guys are all all
Yeah,
excellent. Brendan
the
Fitzgerald's
play-by-play guys
great.
are professional broadcasters, so they're much better at this than people that
Do
they
you-
bring in. So I would
do
honestly
you-
probably actually pick 3 play-by-play guys.
Do you miss Goldie?
No. I think Goldie gets a little bit of a bad rap because I do think there's a period of time where he was like what the UFC needed. I don't ever think he was good at his job, frankly. But there was a period where like he filled the necessary role of like just being more excited. And this is going to sound disparaging and it's not really intended that way. At like for a big portion of the early development of the UFC, it was pretty good to have a dumbass in the booth because Joe Rogan could just teach him about fighting. And so like if you don't know fighting, like Goldie didn't know a goddamn thing. And so half of it was like being party to a lesson of this is jujitsu or whatever. And so that was like honestly useful. That utility ran out and he stayed long past he should have, but I think there's a period where he was mattered.
What you say for Goldie, I say for Rogan, exactly the same.
Yeah.
At the time,
I agree.
Rogan was so important to explain to new fans, to explain to these new bros why 2 sweaty dudes pressing against each other against the cage is the coolest shit ever. And you needed that, but I think we're past that. And yeah. And so
it's tough too, because I think if you just did Rogan and Anik, I think people would appreciate Rogan's commentary more. The problem is he's fighting for the microphone with Daniel Cormier, Daniel wants his time too. And they both want to say, like, prove who is the more correct. And you hear that when DC and Cruz are in a booth together, or when DC and Bisping are in a booth together. Like, you have a bunch of alpha males on the microphone trying to say what they need to say and want to be more right than the other person. And then you mix in a Paul Felder, and Paul's just kind of like the low, chill dude who just throws the cool commentary out there. And he also like makes the Cruzes and the DCs and the Bispings better because Felder knows how to set those guys up, and he's not trying to talk over anybody, which I appreciate about him, and which is why I think he might make my list of top 3 because of what he brings to the table. He elevates everybody else. He makes Dominic Cruz better. He makes Bisping better. He makes DC better just because of his demeanor, and he knows when to lay back. And I think he's the best post-fight interviewer as well of all of these guys.
Yes.
And for some reason, we never get to see him do post-fight interviews anymore, even though he's the best at it. He has to watch Michael Bisping do it. And, seniority, Felder's not going to complain, but he's just great. He's just great. And as far as who hasn't already, I think we're all kind of in the same boat, right?
I don't know.
Smith,
what boat you're in.
Chiesa.
Oh,
Smith
I don't
and Chiesa
give a
are
shit
great.
about seeing Anthony Smith do commentary. I'm sure he'd
Really?
be fine. I don't care.
Oh, he's great. He's great at color commentary. He's
I'm
outstanding,
sure
actually.
I'm sure it'd be fine. I don't care. The people that they have on the booth, like, again, I'm sure that they would all be fine. Like the people who do the analyst desk, none of them, like, if we're going to do it, I would like us to do somebody who I don't hear talk about stuff in this context, but who I know to be geniuses of fighting. Because like my issue with Dominic Cruz is a very siloed view of things. He can only understand a fight through the context of which he would compete in it. And that has always been my issue. He cannot recognize that other fighters do things differently than him. And so when they are doing things differently, it's not a stylistic preference or choice. It's bad because they aren't getting the underhook like he would or whatever. Like that has always been my issue with Cruz. Cruz is very smart. And when he is doing so, like when he's commentating a fighter who competes in a similar fashion to him, I think you're getting the best of him. Daniel Cormier is a fight genius. And for a while he was quite good. Then he became a caricature of himself because everybody lost their minds over the Thug Rose call. And he just now does that. That's negative reinforcement. But like, I want other fight geniuses. Should I just hear different perspectives? Like it might suck. I would lock in for a Habib on a commentary booth, just to be like, to talk shit about these people. Like what are they doing? What's going on? I think Volkanovski actually should get an opportunity. I think he could potentially be
That's
very
a good shout.
Because he is obviously a fight genius. Like he is obviously a genius of fighting. And so I think when his career is done, I'd like to see him get an opportunity to do that. Habib would just be fun to me. And if you're going to give me a third, I tried really hard to think of like a female, like just a woman, because they could desperately use more of that. But like, it's a hard line.
Angela Hill
like,
does commentary all the time. So I think she's great.
Like, I want somebody new. Like again, somebody who hasn't already is the problem.
Well, UFC hasn't brought her in. She does it. But
but like I want a whole fresh person. It's like I don't think Shevchenko should be remotely near a commentary booth. You know, like that would not go particularly well. So it's just like finding somebody else in there, and maybe Joanna. Like that might not be awful, but that might not go well either. I don't know.
Nah, Joanna should be like when Dana steps down, Joanna should be like the face of the company. She should be the Dave Shaw moving forward. Like just bring her in to talk about shit. Like that's what's up.
Lazybeck suggesting Corey Sandhagen. I would love Corey. Basically fighters who are going to become good coaches after their fighting careers are done. I think those are going to make the best color commentators.
Yeah, I think Kamaru Usman at a time, I always thought he'd be great at it. Maybe he still could.
I'll live my bit.
I don't know. I think he's been Cejudo'd a little bit.
Podcasting has killed so many of these guys because they forget.
I know.
It's podcasting tough. And color commentary are different things. And that's why I've always hated when Rogan and DC are together because they think they're on a podcast and not calling fights, which is two different things. And
yeah. And then you hear like DC do the college wrestling stuff and you're just like, man, remember this guy? Remember him?
Oh yeah.
It was like a whole different thing. It was outstanding.
I would very much like Dricus Duplessis. Not now, but in a few years. Like because the thing is I don't want an active fighter. Like it's just you don't get somebody who can spend the time not doing other things with their time.
I left just coaches. Get coaches in there.
Oh, we're all stupid. Poirier should 1,000,000,000% get a crack.
Oh yeah, Poirier should be. Poirier should be. Once he retires, he should be on every pay-per-view broadcast, either on the desk or he should be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. He's so good in that spot.
But yeah, again, we should get to see this because they shouldn't lock in any commentator for longer than 5 years. There's no shortage of fighters who could have fun, be useful, be entertaining. Just rotate them through.
All right. Thank you, Master Universe.
Anything else?
One last super chat before we get out of here.
Jed shading the GOAT, Anthony Smith again. Boo.
I never got the Anthony Smith support. I don't have an issue with him, but he is not. I give a lot of credit to that man because he should have had a nothing of a career, and he had vastly exceeded the expectations of him. If you gave him 100 tries at this, I don't think he can possibly do better. He spiked it. And he is never he's not a bad talker right? But like he's not the most engaging person to me. And so it's just like I don't need to see him in the booth. I'm sure he'd be fine, but I don't care.
All right. Thank you, Achilles. And just
Give me Angela Hill in the booth. That'd be fun.
Sure.
yes. Yep. And before we leave, one more thing.
Return your shopping carts, ladies and gentlemen. That is a message we all need to learn. There's two very important lessons in life
We live in a
that will make
society.
you not an asshole. Return your shopping cart and pick up your dog's shit off the ground. You accomplish both of those things,
Also
you're
true.
in a good spot.
Oh, dude.
Dude,
Like,
there
just
have
don't be
been
a lazy
times-
asshole. Pick up the
There have
poop.
been times in my life where I was walking a dog and like thought I had bags, and then the bag, like he pooped like 3 times, and suddenly I don't have enough bags. And it's like, it gives me stress to be like, I have to leave that, and now I have to come back and get it. But what if somebody is looking out their window and just sees me being an asshole right now? And there's not like a way to say, I'm going to come get this in an hour when I get home and then can get it. But like, pick up your dog shit, man.
I will literally stand there for 5 minutes thinking about my next move. Do I run home and grab a sign and put it around
I've gotten
I'll
leaves.
get it later.
I've picked up
Yeah,
leaves.
you
to
do
like,
the leave thing. You do the leave thing. You know, that's what you do.
I've done the
that's a
grab
good one.
leaves to then just throw it into a nearby trash can or whatever. Like I'll do anything I can to not leave shit there because it genuinely makes me uncomfortable to be, which is very stupid, obviously, but to be like judged silently.
The last time
Because it means
the last
something.
time I
It
had to do
means
that,
something.
I actually knocked on the person's door where the poop was near, and I was like, I promise you, I'm just running around the corner to get bags. I will be right back. And they'll be like, oh, thank you. And then I would run back and do it. And they're very thankful. Very thankful. So return your shopping carts, pick up the poop, hit the music.
Pick up the poop. Pick up the
Just pick
poop,
it up.
John. Pick up the poop,
Where's the poop?
John.
Pick it up, John. Pick up the poop. Put it in the poop
Pooper.
bag. Put it in the poop barrel. All right? Pick up the poop. That's it, everybody. Thank you for joining us. UFC back next week with Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber at the world's most famous Apex. We also got Mateusz Gamrot, Ludwig Klein on that card. AC Chesson versus Ketlin Vieira, big fight, buried on the prelims. We'll talk about that and much more. Hopefully John picks up the poop. For Jed, for Casey, I am Mike Cash. We're out of here. Goodbye.
Love y'all.
This has been Between the Links, an MMA Fighting production on the Vox Media Network.